thousands to watch this 600cc Supersport event. The front row again, confirmation of that. Borley, Jim Moodie, Ian Simpson, Greg Dreyer, and pole position man from Crawley, Mark Farmer, riding number 9. A flying start by Jim Moodie, who anticipated that beautifully. In fact, was away just a little bit too sharp, I think, Jim Moodie, number 4. Look at the lead he has already going down into Gerrard's. He fairly flew off the line. He means business in this one because, as I said at the outset, he's in 4th place in the championship, and he really needs Ian Simpson, Mark Farmer and Phil Borley to either fall down, break down or climb down, and that's about the sum total of it, Steve.
Yeah, I think it is. Mark Farmer has to get a good result in this, and Ian Simpson not to, for him to clinch the championship, but it could be anyone's at the moment. The points are so very, very close. But as you said, Jim Moodie did make a flyer of the starts. Whether or not the officials will see fit to penalise him for that's another matter. We can only wait and see, and if it is the case, then there'll be a board shown in a later stage of this race.
Through the chicane then, at the end of lap 1, as they come down over the start-finish line here at Mallory. Jim Moodie, number 4, out in front. Right with him, number 39, that's Greg Dreyer. He was the front row man. He was alongside pole position. He's really going well. Remember, the best result for Dreyer so far was 8th. He's had a couple of 8th places in this series so far, but he's really riding now up with the creme de la creme here in the 600cc class. This is basically, as we've said before, a road bike class. Through goes Mark Farmer, number 9. So Farmer in 2nd place in the championship. No sign yet of number 22. There he is, number 22, Simpson, as I speak, in 4th place. Championship leader, Ian Simpson. And I'll have to give you some mathematics in this one because it's going to be pretty tight to decide which of these riders score the necessary points and take the championship.
Well, it does, but Ian Simpson had a very, very nasty accident in qualifying. He only competed 9 laps of the practice session, which put him on the front row of the grid, but he had to be lifted on and off his machine to go out this morning's warm-up. So Ian Simpson, number 22, is very knocked around. There's nothing broken, no bones are broken, but extremely bruised. So we've got to watch number 22, Ian Simpson, who is, as I said, he's quite knocked around. Whether or not he can keep the pace up for 20 laps is another matter.
3rd place as we speak, number 22, Ian Simpson, who goes through on the inside of Greg Dreyer, number 39, relegating him down to 4th. What a magnificent performance it will be if young Ian Simpson, just 22 years of age, number 22 on the bike, can lift this, his first major national title. And what a credit to the Simpson team, Father Bill, who is so dedicated, working on the bike, helping his son through his professional road race career. He's in 3rd place now. Ahead of him, Mark Farmer, and fellow Scot Jim Moodie leads the charge. But Moodie is on a hiding to nothing unless he can deliver something really good. He's got to win the race, and the others really have to not finish at all. Well, Farmer in 2nd place has just equalled the lap record here. This is lap 4 of 20, so not yet 1/4 distance. These two, Farmer number 9 in 2nd place, still Jim Moodie out in front. Moodie, the man, as we said, number 4 in the 400cc Supersports race, who is threatening and in fact I suspect will indeed retire through lack of sponsorship at the end of this season. And that's a major pity that somebody with so much talent is forced out of the sport he loves simply because he cannot afford to compete at the correct level. He feels that he's done as much as he can in Supersport class, would dearly love a move to 750s. Is there potential, Steve?
Well, without a doubt, and he's certainly caught the attention of some of the sponsors that are around. There's a lot of people talking about Jim Moodie and his performances. He had a very bad, unfortunate Alton Park, but he's now riding so well. Mark Farmer in his wheel tracks, number 9 behind him. But Jim Moodie, we saw him in the 400 class riding extremely well. I think he's potentially one of the top riders in.
Farmer on the inside then, Moodie, and still Ian Simpson, number 22, who is doing just about enough. If Ian Simpson stays where he is, 3rd place, number 22, that will earn him 15 points, and that will put him on to 83. And Mark Farmer in 2nd place will get 70 and move on to 81. So if everything stay the way they are, Mark Farmer, number 9, needs to win this race to win the championship. It's as simple as that. and Jim Moodie is doing everything he knows to prevent it, but Farmer has gone through. Now Ian Simpson is in the position of not winning the championship. Third is not good enough. That could win Mark Farmer the championship because the points differential only 4 and the gap too wide as it is.
Yeah, and Ian Simpson, as we spoke earlier, is an injured rider. I think he's given it his best shot, and there's still a lot of laps to go. So number 22, Ian Simpson, the last thing he needs to do is fall off again because he's knocked around enough already. But number 6 is closing in now, Phil Borley. He's another threat to Ian Simpson's championship hopes.
Race leader then, number 9, Mark Farmer, 28 years of age from Crawley, and when he's not riding a motorcycle, he valets cars. It's a part-time job for a local rental firm, so he's not a professional full-time racer. Phil Borley's on the charge now, has gone round 95.43. Phil Borley with the red fairing riding number 6 is behind Ian Simpson, and it could be that the pressure and the pain all become too much for Simpson.
Well, there is a limit to what you can do, and often once the race gets underway you forget about the pressure and the pain, but if it's too great it starts to hurt, you lose your concentration, and the best thing you can do is stop, because it's so easy to make a mistake once concentration is gone. You need to be 100% onto racing that motorcycle, not worrying about any previous injuries.
Mark Farmer, number 9, then out in front of Jim Moodie. And Ian Simpson is just not doing enough in 3rd place. He needs 1 more place because the way things are at the moment, he will lose the championship by 1 point. And it's number 22 we're talking about now, the guy with the yellow helmet ahead of Phil Borley from Southend-on-Sea, number 6. And Borley goes through. So Ian Simpson now down to 4th, and he's fighting back. And he has the answer for Phil Borley through the Lake Esses. He's not going to settle for 4th place. It has to be 3rd. Ian Simpson knows it, and better still, it has to be 2nd.
Yeah, well, I think Ian Simpson now has got to rely on the front runners to try and block or do their best to block Mark Farmer. But there's so many computations of what could happen here. I think we've just got to see who wins and work it out at the end. But Phil Borley has been relegated back into 4th spot now. Ian Simpson still pushing hard. Number 22, Ian Simpson.
Well, the first 4 then, closing up. In fact, Simpson and Phil Borley just closing in narrowly on the back end of Jim Moodie, but race leader number 9, Mark Farmer, still out there leading the charge, and Farmer broke the lap record here on Friday's 600cc practice. He won the first round of the European Championship at Donington, so he's taken admirably to the 600cc Supersport class. Mark Farmer then, the Ulsterman, now based in Crawley, down there in Sussex. Rode under the Colin Aldridge banner. Simpson in 3rd, Borley still in 4th. But Jim Moodie, and these are the men you're watching now, the top 4 men in the championship, and they're the top 4 men in the race. If we were just to shuffle the positions round a bit, we could get Ian Simpson home for the win, but it's looking as though that just might not be.
Yeah, I think if Mark Farmer stays in the position he's in, he has an extremely good chance in this championship. And I don't think he'll be working out too many details at the moment. He'll be riding as fast as he possibly can. He's just put in a 51.63, the fastest lap, and in fact that's a lap record on this 1.3 Mallory Park circuit. So he'll have his head down and just be going for it, and at the end of the race he'll see where he'll have a look to see where he is in the championship.
Well, if things stay the way they are, Mark Farmer will end up at the end of the day with 84 points because he collects 20 for the win. There's 7, and Simpson, there it is. Simpson down again to 4th place. So Phil Borley wore him down. Simpson, number 22, down in 4th place. And with that little move, pretty well goes all hopes of the championship, unless Ian Simpson can find an answer and exert some superhuman effort to get past Phil Borley and then eventually past Jim Moodie, number 4, the man on the purple bike in 2nd place. But out in front, and you're looking at the 3rd place man now, and 4th indeed, Ian Simpson. 3rd place, Phil Borley, number 6, who's in 3rd place in the championship, is in 3rd in the race. Borley had 61 points when he came here. This is the battle for 1st and 2nd. Jim Moodie has by no means given up.
No, not at all. Jim Moodie keeps looking for the inside line at the hairpin. He holds the machine in tight. that seems to be the quickest part on the circuit for him. So, and that's the place, if you're going to do it on the last lap, is the place, because it doesn't allow anyone to come back at you. So Jim Moodie might be quite satisfied to be sitting in Mark Farmer's wheel tracks here, watching where he's quicker and where he's slower. You see he's closed in as they come around Gerrard's Bend now to over 120 miles an hour. 5th gear, accelerating up into 6th gear. Now down on the fastest part of the circuit as they come to the S's.
Only one previous win, as I said, under Mark Farmer's belt, and that was at round 1 in Snetterton, but today was his 3rd pole position, so he's obviously a consistently fast rider on the 600. He's not shaking off Jim Moodie, though, and Jim is riding in a very calm, calculated race. Very, very steady indeed, and could well have an answer. Jim Moodie has by no means given up. There's only a bike length in it, and they're now dragging out the gap between themselves in 3rd place. Phil Borley hasn't shaken off Ian Simpson. Anything can still happen, but at the moment, Ian Simpson is looking to lose the championship to the man leading the bunch. Ian Simpson, number 22, still in 4th place. Phil Borley, number 6, still in 3rd. And a brace then of 600cc 4-stroke 4s ahead of Greg Dreyer from South Africa, and Brian Morrison, none the worse for his 750 tumble in 6th place.
No, that's right, and still a lot of 7 laps to go, so there's still a great deal could happen. Jim Moodie, as you said, is looking very threatening. He keeps that tight inside line. He's probably practicing that for the last lap, because that is the place to do it.
Well, it's still all open here, because if number 4 Jim Moodie can pass Mark Farmer, that will build in a 3-point differential. Oh, goodness me, the figures are difficult to work out. Will that give Simpson the title? That'll be very tricky indeed. 3 points separates 1st and 2nd place in terms of the race result. 20 points for the win, 17 for 2nd. We're looking really for Jim Moodie to take the win, and he won't do it with an enormous wobble like that as the Yamaha twitches under protest, really, as Moodie gives it a big handful out of the Lake S's up to the hairpin again, and that tight line that Steve Parrish spoke about. He shows Mark Farmer his front wheel and looks as though he's got an awful lot in reserve.
Yeah, it's quite a possibility to get through there, and I think you'll be giving Mark Farmer a few worries, because he's showing him his front wheel now and again, saying that I'm right here behind you, don't give me any room, because I'll be through, and that's putting a bit of pressure on Mark Farmer, trying to lull him into making some sort of mistake.
And Ian Simpson is back up to 3rd, so that has really put a spanner in the works. Ian Simpson has turned his supercharger on, or done something. He's really underway here now at Mallory Park at 3/4 distance. Ian Simpson is on for 15 points. And that is a very interesting scenario, because it all hinges now on what happens at the front. If Ian Simpson can hang on to that 3rd place, it all hinges on the battle for the front, and can Jim Moodie pin Mark Farmer to the flag and give Simpson the win?
Well, it's all very interesting, but if we look, Ian Simpson is actually closing on the leaders. We're now on lap 15, so a few laps to go yet, but Ian Simpson has certainly picked the pace up, and he's now closing in on the leaders.
If things stay the way they are, then Mark Farmer will win the title by 1 miserable point, would you believe? Ian Simpson has obviously got that message from Father Bill, who's been sticking a board out over the pit lane, trying to tell him exactly. And Borley's through again, so Simpson down to 4th. He's got to get past Phil Borley, and he's trying, and he's done it. He's alongside, but on the outside at the hairpin. Borley's on the inside. Simpson doing everything he can, but he goes just a little bit wide. Borley had the inside line. There was really no way through, was there?
No, none whatsoever. Once you're on the inside, there's very little chance of riding around the outside, because the rider on the inside could drift the machine out to the edge and just give you a hard time, so you had to shut the throttle, so that's a problem.
I keep repeating it, I know, but it's all going to hinge on this battle for 1st and 2nd place. Because if Simpson can't do anything about Borley, if he stays where he is, let's do the sums on this. If he stays where he is, he'll get 13 points. That will give him 81. Farmer will indeed win if he stays where he is, but if Farmer gets down, yeah, it'll be touch and go, my goodness me. This really is close. Farmer still out in front, Jim Moodie then in second, but equally determined to get the win. Mark Farmer hanging on grimly to that lead, the one he knows will get him the championship title. He'd like to make sure of it rather than rely on the mathematicians to work it out for him. Borley and Ian Simpson. And out in front, number 9, Mark Farmer. Then it's Jim Moodie, number 4. So Mark Farmer, number 9 at Gerrard's. Well, Steve, it's anybody's guess, but a complicated result nonetheless.
It really is, and it does look as though Jim Moodie has something in reserve. It's very, very difficult for us to say at this, but lap 18 with 2 laps to go, Jim Moodie's soon going to start thinking about making this move. But if he's wise and if he's able to do it, then the hairpin on the last lap is the obvious place, because that then wouldn't give Mark Farmer any chance to have a go back at him. So we're going to just have to keep an eye on this spot on the circuit on the last lap.
If things stay the way they are, I've finally come up with a permutation. Simpson and Mark Farmer will be equal on 81 points. But in terms of the overall result, and I bow to Steve Parrish's superior knowledge, Steve, will it be the rider who finishes better on the final leg, or will it be the rider with best results throughout the 6? It's
normally taken from the rider who has the most wins, so now you've got to look back from all the other rounds to see who's taken the most wins. That's the clarifying factor.
Well, Simpson has got 2 wins, and if Mark Farmer wins this, then it's academic, there's no problem. But if Jim Moodie, the title will go to Simpson if only Jim Moodie can get past Mark Farmer. Yeah. It's as simple as that, and he's really trying, and Moodie's alongside, but he's on the outside. Simpson equally going for third. Look at Jim Moodie. Will he dive back on the inside? He was really on the wrong side there, wasn't he?
Well, they're bashing fares, and that's put Jim Moodie off, and that's lost it the race for Jim Moodie. Phil Borley's having a look on the inside, so now Mark Farmer has a bit of a cushion, and I think it's his race, because Jim Moodie's 2 seconds behind now. And they're on their last lap, so I don't think there's any way Jim Moodie can close that deficit.
But if Simpson can steal second, that's good enough. 4 points is the gap in the championship, and we're looking for Ian Simpson, who's now in 4th. He needs to finish second and the title is his. But if things stay the way they are, then Farmer's going to lift it. But look at Ian Simpson. He's up to 3rd almost. He's up to 3rd. He now has Jim Moodie in his sights, and he's got to go for it. So Jim Moodie from Glasgow, number 4, is coming under pressure from Ian Simpson. Number 22 is on the inside line. And Simpson is up to 2nd place. Can he hold it? Can Ian Simpson hold second? If so, he's got the title. Oh, my goodness. Borley nips her at the chicane, but Ian Simpson goes motocrossing. And the checkered flag being readied here. Farmer gets it. Simpson goes over in second. And with it, Ian Simpson gets the title. What a stunning last lap. And what a brilliant result for Ian Simpson.
Well, that was the most determined ride I've ever seen. He was going for second no matter what, and he even rode over the curbs to do it. A terrific achievement by Ian Simpson. I think he's going to have to be lifted off the bike now, because he's probably in a great deal of pain from his efforts.
Number 22, and he's 22 years of age. Ian Simpson from Dalbeattie, hand in the air. A congratulatory pat on the shoulder from Jim Moodie. I think they all know the result. Maybe they don't, but we certainly do. Simpson got second. Mark Farmer took a blistering win. Moodie 3rd, Borley 4th. Greg Dreyer, a fine ride for 5th. And Brian Morrison hung in there.